Today, me and Justin are going to talk about how much of our time should we spend learning about personal finances? How much time, and should it be a routine? Should it be random? That's one thing we're going to talk about today. And then who should we learn about money from? Should we learn from friends, family, books, things like that? So really, how much time should we spend learning about personal finances and from who? It's going to be a free-flowing conversation. Down below, if you don't mind telling us, if you feel comfortable, how much time you spend learning about personal finances, some of the websites, YouTube channels, podcasts you listen to, books you've enjoyed, where you've learned from. We're going to mention some examples of where we've learned money from and how much time we spend.
Nice.
Because like when you're working out, when people work out to try to get in shape, a lot of people have routines for that. They don't just do it, I probably should work out today. It's a Wednesday. And then next week, Tuesday, I'm going to work out today. They have a routine with working out. So we believe a routine with learning about money could be very helpful for a lot of people. So if you don't have that yet, maybe you can form a routine of learning about personal finances. So that's today's discussion. So, like Justin.
I worked out this morning.
Did you? You look great.
Yes.
You look buff. You hit the bench press. You're up to 400 pounds now, or is it 500?
Yeah, that was last week.
So routines about, like, it's an open-ended question. How much time should someone spend learning about money, and should they have a routine? What do you suggest, or what's some of your thoughts about that?
How much time should they take learning about money?
Yeah, like personal finances, like even taxes, because that's part of money. Like that's something you're gonna
wonderful tax season coming up.
Yeah.
Here. I think people need to understand what they need, and until they have that figured out, they're still learning. So if I needed to learn about side hustles, then I'm gonna go research and do it until I have a successful side hustle.
I love that example. So a specific thing, making some extra money on the side, a side hustle.
Right.
Go take a deep dive and learn everything about that and come up with a good plan for your side hustle.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, like, here's an example. Maybe someone, every Monday, they listen to a podcast about personal finances. So once a week, every Monday, they're learning from a certain podcast, or maybe multiple podcasts.
Yeah.
Do you like that strategy?
That is my strategy.
That is your strategy.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's where I heard it from.
I start my day with an email that comes in, and I read the email, and it's money and economy and stuff like that. And then I have a podcast. I've got a couple that come out Sunday, Monday. And so I arrange what's my drive and how long is this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I arrange my podcast. And then that's how I do it. I do have a little bit more of a schedule, I guess you could call it, when listening to my podcast. And then at the end of the day, my wife and I, we're about 95, 98% of the time, we do end up going for a walk after work.
Nice.
And we talk. And often, not all the time, but often we do talk money.
Oh, I like it.
So
you allow yourself that time to talk about personal finances.
Yeah.
Because you want to be on the same page.
Right.
No, I like that. I was thinking about books, because a lot of people don't read books. But think about this, everybody. If someone's willing to write a whole book about personal finances, I'd like to believe they're passionate about it. They have knowledge about it. They're not just doing a video like we are, no offense to us, but they've spent a lot of time. So I even though a lot of people don't like to read books, I would highly recommend maybe making that part of your routine. I don't know if you read one book a year. Maybe you find, as teachers, a lot of the audience is teachers, maybe one book every summer I'm reading about personal finances. That'd be fantastic.
Okay. Do audiobooks count?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I prefer books, because then you can take a pause while you're reading it and let it really sink in. You could take notes like I do when I'm learning about personal finance and other things. I study through books. You can tag it, take notes, and write about it. But if you read a whole book, and we've mentioned quite a few on this YouTube channel, I think you can learn a lot about that. Yeah. What's your thought? Any other thoughts about books as part of?
No, I think books are a fantastic resource. I just finished up one book called Start Thinking Rich, and it had some good nuggets that I enjoyed. But that's how I started too, was with books. And whether it's mindset, whether it's side hustles, there's a ton of stuff that you can find books for.
Now, if you're going to fight reading a book, that's fine. A lot of the really good books have been summarized in videos, obviously. I Will Teach You How to Be Rich by Ramit has been mentioned a lot of times in videos. So you can get chunks of what was in his book through his videos, obviously, and other people's videos.
Right.
So you can learn about what someone's taught through videos too. So YouTube videos could be part of your plan on learning personal finances. Some are short and some are long.
But I wouldn't substitute YouTube videos for a book, though. Because I think, yes, you're getting some nuggets, but I think that it's the nuggets that the YouTuber wants you to get. And there might be something that you pick up is kind of deeper.
No, I agree 100%. I think it's ideal to read personal finance books.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, if you read one or two a year, after 5 years, you've read 10 books, let's say,
Yeah.
you're getting ahead with your knowledge. You're really starting to learn this stuff, creating those good habits that will get you there.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. And the table of contents, you could look at a book. Remember, you can get these free at the library. That's what I always encourage. And then tag it and take notes.
Yep.
But books, for sure. Videos are good, but not as good as books a lot of times. Podcasts can be fantastic. You can do the double thing. You can get a workout, you can go hiking or biking, and you can learn while you're doing that, obviously.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts about routines about learning about money, or do you think it needs to be a routine?
I think if you make it more fluid and it fits in your schedule, fits in your day, not necessarily your schedule, but you're not like scheduling in, I'm going to listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube. It's going to be so much easier. Like I commute, my drive to work is 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And so that's an easy time to listen to a podcast or an audiobook versus just the radio. So I've substituted out the radio many years ago and have only done podcasts and audiobooks. So, and like you said, going on a hike or working out instead of listening to the music, can you substitute for one of these resources as well?
Yeah, occasionally, guys. Definitely listen to your music
Sure.
too and relax. But maybe you do 5 workouts one time a week. You listen to something about personal finance or something else you're learning about.
Yeah.
Maybe the news, if that, whatever it is. And then music the other time. So we're not saying all the time.
Well, I don't know about
us
that.
though. We like this. We're not normal, probably, right?
Yeah, we're not asking you to just totally give everything up. That's for sure.
Yeah, we love to learn. I was thinking about this earlier. This is a random thing. Imagine I just like to learn about money and how people go about it because it's human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You're studying how people behave with money.
Yep, psychology.
It's all emotions. So I was thinking about this earlier, Justin. Imagine 2 people both making $100,000 a year.
Okay.
Both, let's just say 30. Both have the same background education as far as personal finance, so they know the same things. But one is living paycheck to paycheck,
okay,
which is possible.
Absolutely.
The other one's investing money and they're on their path to being net worth millionaires before they're 50 years old.
Nice.
What's fascinating to me is why is one person choosing a path of becoming a net worth millionaire? Why is the other one choosing to live paycheck to paycheck? So learning about money, you're also learning about human behavior and what goes into it. Yeah. Morgan Housel wrote a great book, The Psychology of Money, which I highly recommend. We've recommended many times in videos. The emotions behind our money decisions is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Why we do things and why we make certain decisions. So it's just fascinating to learn about behavior too.
I think sometimes our money stories definitely have that impact on what we do with our money, or even if it's one of those things, I'm going to listen to only my music. I'm not going to listen to any podcast. I think that's where, we can't just ignore it. Money is part of our lives.
Yeah, and it's that ignorance we've talked about before.
Yeah.
You don't want to be ignorant. Learn a few things and then think you have it all figured out. You got to keep learning about things.
Yeah.
Because things evolve. The 4% rule, which if you don't know what that is, Google it, but we can talk about it in another video, has now evolved to the guardrail systems a lot of people are believing in as a better system for withdrawing money safely for your retirement. So 4% rule been around a long time, but now people are saying, hey, what about this guardrails approach where you have a little more flexibility in how much you pull from your funds? And you only know that if you keep learning. You don't want, that's my point of mentioning that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let me ask you this question. What about a mentor? Finding somebody who can kind of maybe hold your hand a little bit, or somebody that you can have a face-to-face conversation with.
I love the mentor idea, but I'll say this. Can I tell another story?
Yes.
It's story time, folks. Sorry. I love the mentor idea, but you should never learn from one person, even if they're brilliant. You should learn from multiple people, books, podcasts, YouTube channels, mentors, maybe even have more than one mentor, family members. Because I'll give this as an example. When me and my wife first bought our house, I asked my mom, sorry, Mom, I'm talking about you right now. Hey, Mom, we're going to buy a house. We don't plan on living there long. It's a starter home. 2 to 3 years is a kind of our plan. My wife is just working part-time and she plans on going full-time. So we know our income's going to go up. What do you suggest we do? And she's like, get a 30-year mortgage. Get a 30-year mortgage. It's safe. You know, your payments are the same every month. And this is coming from my mom. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about that. Well, I went on to learn from other people in books. And what I learned is the 5-year ARM was the best deal for us. A 5-year ARM, you pay a lower interest rate for 5 years. And then in year 6, it can change to a higher interest rate.
Yep.
We knew we were going to only live there about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So by not listening to one person, my mom, and by learning somewhere else the 5-year ARM exists, we saved thousands of dollars. And then when we bought our second home, we used some of that money to buy our second home. So I totally agree with a mentor.
Yeah.
But make sure that mentor is giving you good advice, and make sure you're still learning from other people because you want to kind of balance out the information.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think it's one of those things that the richest man from Babylon, right? You want to learn from somebody who's doing what you're wanting to do, right? And so, yeah, your mom may have, that was her experience, is working with the 30-year mortgage.
Yeah, that's all she knew.
Right. And so you learning on your own opened up some other doors. So I can see that.
Yeah, but adding to who you learn from, a mentor is great. I've learned from people. I've learned from Justin. He has things he's taught me. And I've learned from colleagues I used to teach with. So I've definitely picked things up from other people. So a mentor is a great idea.
Nice.
So how much you do is up to you. For me personally right now, I spend 15, 20 minutes in the morning checking 3 or 4 sites I like, seeing what information they're sharing. And then I might take a deeper dive if they have more information. So it's a morning routine to go to about 3 or 4 sites.
Yeah.
What I'm learning now is things about, since I'm retired, I'm learning about withdrawal strategies, which I talked about earlier, how to be smart with taxes so we can save the most money possible with making certain tax decisions. So what I'm learning now is different than what I was learning 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
So who you learn from?
So wait.
Yeah.
You're saying money changes. You're in like the accumulation phase, the protecting phase, and now the saving it phase and maintaining it phase.
Now it's interesting. Yeah. Now I'm in the decumulation phase.
Oh.
We have our money. Now we got to be smart with how we spend it so we don't run out of it. But we also don't want to, this is what I'm learning, is people aren't spending as much money as they can when they're in retirement because they're worried about dying broke.
Yeah.
Dying with nothing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I just read something recently where a lot of people are only like spending 2% of their investments, which based on the 4% rule.
Right. You're good.
You're good. You're going to die with maybe way more money than you needed. So it's really fascinating what you learn when you're at the point where now you want to start using your money to live off your investments.
Yeah.
It's totally new to me. Because 5-10 years ago, I knew I didn't have to worry about this.
Right.
I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I knew it was going to exist sometime.
Right.
But now I'm really learning a lot more
here.
about it. So routines, it's up to you. How much you want to learn is up to you. I will say another thing though, some of you have financial planners. You should still know a lot about money for yourself.
Absolutely.
You should. You cannot just trust that woman that's your certified financial planner and trust that she 100% has your interest in best interest at heart.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch those fees. Even if it's just a 1%, that eats up hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so certified financial planner, still have a lot of your own knowledge about how money works, because you can kind of see if they're really looking out for you if you want to go that route. I know one CFP, certified financial planner, that charges a little more than 1%, and he only takes clients that have $2 million in assets. So taking 1% from 2 million, if I'm doing the math right, double check this, that's $20,000 a year you're paying for this person's help and advice, expertise. And are they really looking out for you?
Yeah.
They do have a fiduciary responsibility. I get that. But do they really know what you want to do with your money, the more emotional side, not just the numbers?
Are they a fiduciary?
A certified financial planner has to be.
Okay.
So a CFP, you're getting that tag of a fiduciary. If they're just I don't know if they call themselves something else.
Money coach.
A money coach. A money coach isn't a CF. Yeah, doesn't have fiduciary responsibilities.
Yeah.
And who you're going to learn from is going to change. I talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at it like who I was learning from in my 20s and 30s helped me out there. Then I moved on to learn from other people when my needs became different.
Oh, that makes total sense. I mean, when we're young, growing up, we're probably learning from mom and dad.
Right.
Right. Well, and those are habits that we learn. Those are things that we learn just by observation of mom and dad. And then as we get older and older, we start seeing other people and their parents and their jobs. And yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Like one person I'm learning from, Rob Berger. He has a YouTube channel. He wrote a book too. He really focuses on issues that resonate with me right now: retirement, withdrawal rates, tax strategies, things like that. That might not have been my interest when I was 30,
right?
Because that's down the road. If I was in my 20s and 30s, these are people that I think are good right now. Erin Talks Money. She has a YouTube channel. She teaches really good personal finance, the basics, but really clearly and well. I also like Personal Finance Club. He has great graphics. So if you were just learning about personal finance kind of at the beginning and want a refresher though, those are a couple that come to mind that I think are really good that I look at because I want to be able to share that with people.
Yeah.
For me, I'm learning from about 4 or 5 people roughly. And then sometimes I'll learn from random people here and there. Jonathan Clements, I've been learning from for years. He has Humble Dollar, again, geared towards retirees. So I've been learning from him for 25 years. So he's been a longtime friend, personal finance friend that I'll never meet. But so who are some people you're learning from now, or maybe you're in the past that they taught you stuff in the past, but you're not learning from them anymore, maybe?
Yeah, I've got a podcast that I listen to regularly. I'm also part of the podcast's Facebook group, and it's real estate focused.
Yeah.
And so I listen to them every Monday morning.
What podcast is it?
It's the Get Real podcast.
Get Real. So if you want to learn about real estate, Get Real podcast.
Yep. And so that one's definitely part of the schedule there. I've got a friend that I use as a mentor. I talk to him about business. I talk to him about real estate. I talk to him about investments. And he is a business owner. He is a real estate investor. And so he's doing it way different scale than I am. But it's a resource that I can utilize. There's books that I'm always looking into and reading, and like The Psychology of Money or whatever, right? There's always books out there. So, but yeah, so those are just a couple of resources that I fall into.
Yeah, I love it. To me, this is my opinion. Right now, about 5 people roughly, and then some sporadic people here and there. If you can have a clump of people, clump, you like that word, clump, have a clump of people, group of people that you're learning from, and if they're saying the same messages, it's thumbs up most likely.
Yeah.
And if they're not teaching you as much as you like, you can move on from that person and go to someone else. But give a lot of people a shot. Don't just rely on maybe 1 or 2 people. Is my suggestion. If you're lucky enough to get a mentor, that's great. If you see someone in your school that is doing well, maybe see if you can meet with them occasionally and have coffee and see what they're doing to get, to where they're at. I think finding a mentor is a wonderful idea.
I think it's a little bit more personal, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, the humble dollar guy, the friend that you'll never meet, right? But how wonderful would it be to meet him,
Yeah.
take him out for coffee and talk his ear off,
Yeah.
right? Or listen, ask questions, right? So having somebody to talk to is definitely helpful. And that's why I love talking to my wife, because our mindsets are on the same path as well. So
I love it. So some things to think about for everybody. Uh, how much are you learning about personal finance? Do you think you're learning enough? Where are you learning it from? From who? If you don't mind sharing, we'd love to see where you're learning from and how
yeah.
often you learn about personal finance.
Hook me up with another podcast I should be
Yeah.
listening to.
No, please share. We shared a couple right there. There's more, obviously, we can share, and we've
Yep.
shared in previous episodes. J.L. Collins. J.L. Collins, didn't he write a book?
Yeah, something about pathways.
Yeah, like a simple path to wealth. He's one of my top 10 books ever that I recommend. Mentioned Ramit Sethi, mentioned Morgan Housel, Psychology of Money. But you got to find what resonates with you because those people might not fit what you were looking for right now. So,
yeah.
All right. Good luck on your financial journey, everybody. Any last words?
Nope, you got this.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.